Hey guys, ChrisFix here with the top 5 Christmas gift ideas for car guys and car girls like you. Check it out. Now this year, just like every year, I've come up with some really helpful gift ideas for anybody who likes to work on cars. They're not sponsored. These are actual products and tools that I use all the time, I find very helpful, and I don't think you'll have them in your toolbox. There's gonna be 5 main gifts, and then there's gonna be 5 stocking stuffers. And this year, I focused on affordability. That way, these gifts won't break the bank. Also, I realized the video's a little late this year, but don't worry, I tried to get all these products to have quick shipping. That way they could get to you quickly if you need some ideas. Now, with that said, enough talking, let's open up some gifts. All right, and we're starting with our first gift idea, and it looks like a 2-for-1. All right, we got a mini air blower, and let's see what the second one is. Okay, a much bigger air blower. All right, so these portable air blowers or air dusters, whatever you want to call them, are becoming increasingly popular, and I can see why. They're very useful. So we have the large one here, has a bunch of different adapters. This adapter is my favorite. I'll show you why. And then we have the mini one here, also very useful, a bunch of different adapters. They charge up with USB-C. On low, this lasts an hour, but nobody's gonna use this on low. We're gonna crank it all the way up to high, and this shoots air out at 100 miles an hour. So it is very powerful, and at full blast, it lasts just under 10 minutes. So let me show you all the different uses for these. Okay, so first, we're gonna change to my favorite nozzle, this flat one. So just twist it and it pops right off, and to put the new one on, just line it up and twist it the other way, and it locks in. Good, now let's go use this. So first, my most common use for this is to dry the car after I wash it. Normally I use a leaf blower, but it's so large and cumbersome. So instead, this air blower is a lot smaller, lighter, and easier to manage, and you can see how well it works to push that water off the surface of the paint. Now, using air in general is a great way to dry a car because it's touchless, and it gets into tight areas like this where a towel would be impossible to use. And finally, it also works great on glass. That way you're not leaving any streaks with your towel. So this works great for drying cars, but what about in the snow? Well, since I no longer have to deal with the snow, I asked my buddy Jacob from my favorite car review channel, The Straight Pipes, to show how well this works for snow removal. Now let's be real, this isn't going to remove heavy wet snow or thick ice, but it does do a good job at removing fresh snow, and you can see it comes right off. That way you don't have to get your hands wet and cold. It's also a lot better to use this compared to a snow brush, which is going to scratch your paint. Jacob also wanted to try out the mini air blower, so as you can see, it works pretty good as well. This is nice because it fits in the glove box, so no more need to store a big dripping wet brush in your trunk. So I think you get the idea. Thanks again, Jacob, and stay warm up there, eh? And real quick, here's some other ways I find myself using these air blowers, such as removing leaves from the back of my truck. I mean, it's not going to take the place of your leaf blower, but as you can see, it works fine for clearing out leaves in small areas. And it's a lot easier to grab this than start up the gas blower. And as you can imagine, besides the truck bed, it also works for other places like your front porch, or in this case, a section of your driveway that has a bunch of leaves on it and you want to get rid of them. The mini blower works great to clean the dust out of the hard-to-reach spots like the vents in your car, and it could even blow up a pool float. This took about 1 minute and 30 seconds on high, and the trick is to pinch the valve on the pool float. That way it lets the air in easier. And I do gotta say, this sure beats clearing off the snow from my car. And I'm sure you guys could think of many more uses for these, but these are good because they fill the gap between a leaf blower and a can of compressed air. Plus, they have a ton of home and automotive uses. I'm always finding myself grabbing one of these, and they are well made. They won't break the bank, 1-year warranty, all good things, which is exactly why it made my list this year. All right, now along with a main gift, we're gonna have 1 stocking stuffer. These are smaller gifts, usually less expensive, and they should fit into a stocking, although some of them might not, but that's okay. Now, before I show the first stocking stuffer, I do want to mention I do have ChrisFix children's books. They're really inexpensive, $9.99, and they ship out real quickly. They're print on demand, so if you need to get books for somebody, for young kids, trying to get them into the automotive community, get them interested in cars, that's perfect. So now let's open up our stocking stuffer. All right, so our first stocking stuffer is a 2-for-1 as well, and it rattles. I wonder what we got. Okay, looks like fuses. Oh no, even better, light up fuses. Now let's see what the other one is. Okay, more glow fuses, and these are actually really neat. Let me show you. And these fuses are absolutely amazing. They might look like normal fuses, but trust me, they're not. Okay, kids, don't do this at home. I'm about to blow a fuse to show you how this works. Okay, so let's plug in the fuse blower 1000, and that red light means it's got power. So if we take our 2 leads and touch them together, There we go. And we have a lot of smoke here because it's a pretty big fuse. So let's pull this out. That way we don't start a fire. And now let me show you how to find the bad fuse. So you pull the cover off the fuse box, and then you have all these fuses here, but which one is blown out? There's nothing here that'll tell you, hey, it's that one, or hey, it's that one. So then you need to grab the owner's manual, flip it to the page showing the fuse diagram right back here. And if we come over to this side to check the fuses, you can see right there, fuse 17 says cigar lighter, but I know from experience this is wrong. You actually need to check the fuse over here, number 22, the auxiliary power point. So now let's grab fuse 22, and check it out, that is our blown fuse. So out with the old normal fuse, and in with the new light up fuse. Then we can install the fuse, and watch this. Now when we go to blow the fuse again, check it out. It is completely obvious which fuse is bad. So a light up fuse kit like this could help you out big time, and this is a really simple fuse box to get to. Imagine a more complicated one. For example, in this car, the fuse box is located underneath the driver's side dashboard right under here. So in order to get these fuses out, you have to get under there in an uncomfortable way. So having a fuse that lights up when it's blown out will make it so much quicker and easier. So back at the truck, I'm gonna change all these old fuses with the new light up ones. And we still have plenty of fuses left over. Now, if any of our fuses here blow out, we'll know instantly which one is bad. And that's exactly why these light up fuses made the list this year. All right, on to the second gift idea. And it's another 2-for-1. Feels like a drill? Nope, it's a heat gun. And let's check out the other one. And it looks like it's gonna be the same, a cordless heat gun. Now, these come in very handy. Now, most of us have a normal wired heat gun like this. And while there's nothing wrong with these, they work great. The downside is they have to be plugged in. And if you're just trying to knock out a quick project off to the side here, well, this isn't long enough, and now I need to grab an extension cord and probably untangle it. And this is an area that I actually have power. What if you're working in an area that doesn't have power? Well, that's where a cordless heat gun comes in handy. These are great. So I have a Ryobi, I have a Craftsman. You want to pretty much get any one of these that you already own the batteries for because the tool itself isn't that expensive. Milwaukee, DeWalt, Rigid, Makita, pretty much every name brand electric tool has one of these. The only thing I'd make sure yours comes with is this attachment right here. It works amazing for when you're doing heat shrink. It keeps all the heat right here. Well, you know what? Let me show you. Okay, so first let's connect this heat shrink butt connector. So get it on the end of your stripped wire and use the insulated crimp part of the crimpers, that way you don't damage the heat shrink. Good, now let's do the other side. Get the wire in there on the other end of the butt connector, and I did bend a couple of strands back, but that's okay, this is just a quick demo. Now grab a heat gun with the heat shrink attachment and heat this up. Here's a better angle, and you can see that heat shrink start to shrink down, and this is going to create a waterproof seal, which is very important because if water gets in here, over time the connection is going to corrode and weaken. So shrink down both ends completely so it hugs that wire nice and tight, and this is perfect. Now we have a nice strong electrical connection. And I think you get the idea. It works great on wiring, but it also works great on removing decals like this. Now, bumper stickers that have been on here for a long time are tough because if you just try to peel this off now, pieces are gonna come off and you're gonna leave behind adhesive as well. It's not gonna come off in one piece unless you're lucky. But with a heat gun, all you need to do is move the heat gun back and forth. You don't wanna keep it in one spot because you could damage the paint, but you wanna heat up that decal to loosen up that adhesive, and watch this. These bumper stickers come right off. And not only does this work for bumper stickers, this works for tint, it works for vinyl decals, vinyl wrapped cars that you're trying to remove the wrap from. And that left no residue at all. So the bumper stickers are removed, and also works really well on stickers on the glass. And I don't know what this QR code is for, but just heat it up with the heat gun, and then it'll peel right off in one piece without leaving any residue. So you can see how these heat guns come in handy, especially in places where you might not have power readily available, and that's exactly why these make my list this year. Okay, our second stocking stuffer. Let's see what we got. Alright, solder seal butt connectors. So you guys are probably used to regular old heat shrink butt connectors like this. I just showed you how to do this, and they work great. Heat shrink butt connectors like this are tried and true. They make a great connection. The only problem is you can see I kind of damaged the heat shrink there by crimping too hard. And if you crimp too hard, you could damage it. If you crimp it too loose, you could pull these right out. Like I said, they work, but check this out. These right here are solder seal butt connectors. Let me show you how they work. Okay, so let's say we need to connect these two wires like that. All you do is get your solder seal connector and slide it down one of the wires. Then you want to grab the two ends of the wires and twist them together nice and tight. This is just like you're connecting wires to solder them. Now you want to slide the solder seal connector over the wires so that that metal strip in the connector goes over the bare metal of the wire. And finally, all you have to do is heat this up with your heat gun. I like to start in the middle, and that should take a few seconds to shrink down. And once it does shrink down most of the way, just like that, now you can move to the sides to shrink the sides down. Now the blue sections in the connector are an adhesive, and this gives it a waterproof seal. So just shrink down both sides, and then you can work your way back to the middle. And as you can see, the solder is starting to melt into the strands of the wire, which is perfect. Now once that solder is melted and the two ends are sealed, you're done. Beautiful, so the solder is completely melted into the strands of the wire, and both sides with the blue adhesive is heat shrunk onto the insulation of the wire. So not only is our connection waterproof, but we have a nice strong soldered connection in the middle with no crimping. So there you go, and just in case you're wondering how strong this connection actually is, I'm really gonna yank on it here, and you can see it is not coming apart. And this kit comes with everything you're going to need for 26 gauge wire all the way down to 10 gauge wire and everything in between. You can see I've been using a bunch. And it's a great alternative to a crimp connector. Plus, these are really waterproof. And that's exactly why they made my stocking stuffer list this year. Alright, let's see what we have for our third gift idea. And only someone who works on cars would be excited about this. An oil stain remover. So for anybody who works on their own car in their driveway, or maybe you have a project car that's just sitting there, or you own a BMW, this right here is a familiar sight. This is an oil leak, and that's been there for over a year, and for the most part, the rest of the driveway is pretty good, but that oil stain will not come up. So I'm gonna show you how to remove it with this right here, which works absolutely amazing. So first, use a stiff bristle brush and brush off the surface to remove any loose dirt. Then blow the dust away, and see, I'm putting the Christmas gift to good use already. Next, you want to shake up the bottle real good. Then pour a thin coat on the oil stain, making sure to cover it completely. I'm probably putting a little too much on here, but I just want to make sure it comes out completely because this has been soaking in here for over a year. Now I'm going to use the brush to feather it into the surrounding areas. That way we don't have one paver that stands out, kind of blends it in. And finally, you really want to work it into the paver with the oil stain. That way we know it's going to soak in completely. Okay, now we need to let this sit for at least 12 hours so the microbes in the liquid have time to break down the oil. So let's let this sit overnight. Alright, so after 12 hours, this is dry and ready to clean up. You want to make sure you're using a dust mask, and all you need to do is brush the surface to loosen up all the silica coating on the pavers. And I'm going to just vacuum this up, that way it doesn't get all over the nearby cars. And this is looking really good, but I still see white residue, so I'm going to hose it off. And I do want to mention this cleaner is made for concrete, pavers, bricks, stuff like that. It's not really recommended for use on black asphalt driveways, mostly because the white dust could stain it. Okay, now we just need to let this dry. And check out these results. After a year of that oil soaking into the pavers, I couldn't get it out. This stuff worked perfect. I mean, check out this before and after. Before and after. So this works incredibly well, and it'll definitely save your butt if you get oil on your driveway, which is why it makes the list this year. Okay, on to our third stocking stuffer, and this feels interesting. Oh man, check these out. See-through grinding wheels. Alright, so I just finished welding up these beads here. That way we could grind them down using our see-through grinding disc because these work amazing. Now to show you the difference, I have a regular grinding disc on here. So let's go and grind one of these beads down. Okay, so with a regular grinding disc, it's exactly as you expect. You can't see through the disc, and you need to work the grinder back and forth and kind of picture where the thing you're trying to grind is going to be. And in this case, the hardest part is making sure that you're evenly grinding the weld because you can't see how long that bead actually is. Now let's get this grinding disc off, and you want to loosen up the retaining nut, and it's out with the old and in with the new. And these little cutouts make a huge difference. I can't wait for you to see how amazing this works. And check this out. You can actually see right through the grinding wheel, so you know exactly where you're grinding. And here's a view from the top, and as you can see, you can make those fine adjustments to grind down whatever you're working on. That way you don't overgrind an area or undergrind an area. Being able to see through this is awesome. So such a simple design, these three little cutouts makes a huge difference compared to a regular grinding wheel. You're able to see through this, which is very helpful, and that's exactly why this makes the list this year. Alright, gift idea number 4, and it's a tiny one. Let's see what we got. Awesome, some ChrisFix pocket pry bars, and they're made in America. So first, I created the ChrisFix extendable ratchets in 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch. And you guys always see me use these, which is why I made them. And basically, anytime you have a fastener that won't loosen, you just extend the ratchet, and that extra length will give you the leverage you need to loosen that stuck fastener. Next, I released the ChrisFix neck lights, and these have been used by thousands upon thousands of people. and you guys have found them very helpful. There's one light and there is the other, and as you can see, it is plenty bright, working under the hood. If you wanted to change a belt, change a hose, check fluids, whatever it is, you have tons of light under here with both neck lights on. And this year we have the ChrisFix pry bars, and I'm proud to say these are made right here in the good old USA. And once you start having pocket pry bars handy, you'll realize how useful these actually are. For example, I'm always using them to pop out panel clips in a pinch like this, or tightening stuff down like a hose clamp, or disconnecting electrical connectors like this, or removing old O-rings like that. And you could even use the edge to open boxes if you don't have a knife on you. Now the set comes with 2 pocket pry bars, and they are 5 inches long, which is about average for a pocket pry bar. It's a good size. They're also finished in a black oxide to help prevent rust, and both pry bars have clips on them. That way you can wear them in your shirt pocket or even your pants pocket and have quick access to them as you're working. The first one is straight and has a tip that's not too thick. That way you could use it as a flathead screwdriver in a pinch. It even has a magnet on the end. That way you can remove nuts and bolts in an area where your hand might not fit easily. Or if you accidentally drop a nut or bolt, you could use it to easily retrieve it from those tight to reach areas. So this comes in handy. Now the other pry bar has a 27-degree curve to give you more leverage. So for scenarios like prying off this hose, or removing this panel clip without breaking it, the angled shaft works perfect. So not only are these pry bars incredibly helpful, but they're made in America, they're affordable, and the proceeds of all the ChrisFix tools go straight to charity. And that's why these make my list this year. Alright, so we're on to our next stocking stuffer, and it looks like Cooper really wants to open this one up. So let's see what we got. It's only fair, right? It's in his stocking. What do we got, Coop? Open it up. And I don't know why, but Cooper loves to open gifts. You should see him try to open everyone's gifts on Christmas Day. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay, I really needed these tool organizers. Let me show you. Now you guys know I'm big on organization. Anytime I'm working on a car, I like to stay organized. My tools, I like to keep organized. Every tool has its place. I try to use foam when possible because it is a great way to know if you're missing any tools. Let's just say this one right here. At a quick glance, you could see I'm missing a 3/8 ratchet. Let me go grab it from my buddy who's been using it, or let me go get it from the car that I've been working on, wherever it is. But you know it's gone, and it has its place. Every single drawer I have is like that, except this next drawer, which I can't figure out how to organize. The pliers drawer. Here's all different pliers from all different brands, and I've just never been able to efficiently organize these pliers. Until now. Check these out. These have been awesome. Let me show you. And now that looks a lot better, but unfortunately this is not an efficient use of space. I still have a lot of pliers that need to be stored in this box. So the solution? And what a difference. This is now nice and organized. Plus, I've been using this for a couple of months now, and I move this toolbox a lot, and all the pliers are still held in place. So this is a really cool product. It's called the Draw Hive. It's made by Stealth Mounts. They're actually made in the UK, which is pretty neat. And it's a very simple product. This one is for pliers. This one is for screwdrivers. I'm going to show you both, but we're going to start with our pliers. So every kit comes with 10 of these holders, and although they look pretty simple, they actually work really well. Let me show you. So these firm rubber pieces lock into each other like so, and you want to stack them all the way down to the end of your drawer so they stay in place. Now we could add our pliers, and I find it best to keep the handles up against the edge of the drawer, and that's looking really good. Now we could add the other row, and in total I'm using 26 of these, so you're going to need 3 bags. Finally, any of the large or weird shaped pliers you can lay off to the side, otherwise the drawer won't close. And now look at that, that's much better. And the screwdriver organizers work the same way. Check it out, much better. So if you or someone you know has a very disorganized toolbox, especially their plier drawer, it looks incredible now because of these, and I highly recommend them. I mean, it speaks for itself, and that's exactly why these make the list this year. Okay, let's see what we got here, our last main gift. Alright, a swivel sprayer and foam cannon package. But wait, there's more. Let's see what we have in this one. Okay, stainless steel wall organizer. And this is actually pretty cool. Let me show you how they work. Now these products are awesome for anybody who likes to clean and detail their car. They make your life so much easier. But even better is the story on how this small business got started. Now 7 years ago, one of my subscribers DM'd me saying that he was tired of poor quality foam cannons and wanted to send me out one of his own designs. Funny enough, mine just broke and I gladly accepted. After testing it out, I thought it was so good, I decided to make a video with the product and put a link, and he got a bunch of orders. And to this day, I've kept the note that he sent me thanking me, and his company is doing great. Not because I gave him a little nudge in the beginning, but because he has good products. Let me show you. So we have two different products. We have a stainless steel wall organizer, and then we have this kit right here, which has a swivel sprayer and a foam cannon. Now, if you've never used a foam cannon to clean your car, I'm about to change your life. This one creates really thick foam. I'll show you that in a second. But the bigger thing is it has stainless steel and brass components, and the plastic they use is actually durable. This one is from 7 years ago. I leave it out in the sun. I've dropped it multiple times. It still holds water. It still works perfectly fine. It hasn't cracked. Now all you need to do is add a little bit of your favorite car soap, something that creates a lot of suds is preferable, and then fill the rest up with just plain water. Now with this full, let me show you how foamy this gets, but real quick, one thing I like about this design compared to the old design or tall foam cannons like this is the center of gravity on this isn't good, but the center of gravity on this, because it's wider, is a lot better. That way it's less likely to fall down. So let me show you how this works. Okay, well first a little surprise, out with the old, and in with the new. And don't worry, my little truck isn't going anywhere. But here is my new diesel pickup. This is the first new car I've ever bought, and she needs to get cleaned. So as you can see, the foam cannon sprays a thick, sudsy layer of soap onto the truck, and that's great for wiping down your truck with a towel, or even doing a touchless wash, which is what I'm gonna be doing. But we have one issue. So the problem with this is all the weight is on the end here, and it makes it very heavy and uncomfortable. So the solution is to use this. So for such a simple product, this is so well thought out. First thing, this trigger pull is nice and light so your hands don't get tired. The internals here are all brass and stainless steel with a plastic cover, and there's a little texture on the plastic. That way you have good grip. Even the trigger design is so well thought out, so you could stick your hand on here like this, and that makes it a lot easier to use the quick disconnect at the end. And then finally, my favorite feature is this right here. This is a swivel quick connector. They give you this attachment for your pressure washer, and it works absolutely amazing. Let me show you why. So first, let's remove the old pressure washer wand, which works well for cleaning floors, but not as good for cleaning cars. Now let's add the quick connector adapter to the pressure washer hose, and it just needs to be hand tight. No need to use tools. And now we can attach the swivel sprayer, and check this out. Normally loops like these would kink when you pull on them, but because of the swivel adapter, this spins right out. Even the second loop, which is a lot tighter. That's so nice. Okay, now let's add our foam cannon and let's try this out. Oh man, this is much better. I don't know why I've been using the wand all these years. Now I have a lot more control, and it might just be my imagination, but I feel like the foam seems thicker now. Either way, this is an improvement, and now I'm gonna finish cleaning my car off camera because you know how to clean a car, and we have a video to finish up. So my new truck came out great for her first ever bath, and you can see why the swivel sprayer and the foam cannon make the list this year. But there's one more thing I want to show you, and it's this right here, the stainless steel wall organizer. Now technically this is meant to be mounted to a wall, but I have a better idea. Mounting it to my detailing cart. And now the sprayer has a place to be stored, as well as the 4 different spray nozzles. Alright, now we have one last thing, our foam cannon, and that just clicks in right there. Beautiful. So if you like well-designed products that work amazing and want to support a small business, well, that's exactly why this makes my list this year. All right, this is the last stocking stuffer. Let's see what we got. Okay, some drill brushes. These come in very handy. Alright, and our final stocking stuffer are these drill brushes, and they work amazing. Now this kit is actually pretty good. It's inexpensive, and you get 9 pieces. My favorite ones are these round ones, which I use the most because they work amazing on carpets. Let me show you. So all these brushes attach to the drill like this, and then you just tighten down the chuck all the way so it's nice and tight. And now we're ready to use the drill brush. So we have this floor mat from my truck, and it has a bad stain right at the top here that we want to remove. So this is the process. The first thing you're going to do is vacuum the entire floor mat to remove all the loose dirt and dust. Next, you want to get your favorite carpet cleaner and focus on the stain. Get it nice and saturated. Then work the cleaner into the stain using a regular hand brush. Next, you want to get a hose or a pressure washer to flush the stain out. With that done, now we can spray down the entire carpet with the carpet cleaner. That way we even everything out. Then use your drill brush, and you want to go back and forth, overlapping about 50% or so to get complete coverage. After you finish in one direction, then you want to work your way around in the perpendicular direction. And just look at how quick and easy this is because the drill's doing all the work. Next, we want to use the extractor vacuum to suck out all that dirty, soapy water, as well as dry the carpet at the same time. And this carpet is looking amazing. Check out this before and after. Alright, one more example with this very muddy carpet because I love the transformation. So first we want to brush off all the mud to get rid of the surface dirt. Then we're going to vacuum the entire carpet to get the remainder of that loose dirt out of there. Then spray the mat down with carpet cleaner. Then you want to grab your drill brush, and again, you want to work this in back and forth, overlapping about 50% to make sure you cover the whole carpet. And once you're done going in one direction, then work your brush in the other direction to really clean this carpet good. And this gets down deep into those fibers. Now use a hose or a pressure washer to work all that dirty, soapy water out of there, and then finally use an extractor vacuum, overlapping each pass. That way you suck out all that dirty water as well as dry the carpet at the same time. And look at that, the drill brush works amazing. And that's exactly why this made the list as my stocking stuffer this year. So there you go, those are my top 5 Christmas gift ideas for car guys and car girls this year. I hope this video was helpful. All these gift ideas will be linked down in the description and pinned in the top comment. That way you could easily find them. And I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and anybody who doesn't celebrate, just enjoy time with your friends and family.